We had, I had another baby, and this was many years ago.
Okay. At 60, Meryl Streep finally stopped pretending to be Hollywood's perfect saint. Sitting comfortably in her chair, legs crossed, eyes sparkling with a mischievous fire, she admitted the one thing no one ever expected to hear from the most decorated actress alive. Yes, she has a list, a real one, of 6 actors she once wanted to sleep with. Not date, not marry, not co-star with, sleep with. She said it with a grin sharp enough to slice through the entire studio. "I'm an actress, not a nun," she joked. "I spent decades pretending to resist certain men, but trust me, honey, I didn't always want to resist." And the first man she names is the one she swears she could never have handled if she tried. Number 1. Clint Eastwood. Meryl Streep has said many times that Clint Eastwood is the kind of man a sensible woman stays away from. Not because he's cruel, or manipulative, or openly seductive, but because he's too powerful simply by existing. Clint didn't need to flirt. He didn't need to say much at all. His masculinity was atmospheric, thick, magnetic, impossible to ignore. "The first time I saw Clint," Meryl recalled, "I understood why half the women in Hollywood forgot their lines around him. He has a presence you can feel on your skin." They once crossed paths at an industry event. Clint walked toward her with that signature, slow, deliberate stride, nodded, and murmured in that low, gravelly voice of his, "Good to see you, Meryl." It was nothing. Just a greeting. Yet she felt the air thicken around them. "I swear I nearly melted," she teased. "Clint smells like danger, the kind of danger you want to touch just once, even if you know you shouldn't." She admitted privately that if Clint had invited her somewhere, anywhere, she wasn't sure she would have had the strength to decline. "Being near him felt like standing at the edge of a cliff," she said. "One more step, and I would have free-fallen." Clint Eastwood was the man you don't sleep with unless you're prepared to lose sleep, for days. Number 2. Jack Nicholson. If Clint Eastwood was seductive in silence, Jack Nicholson was seductive in noise, in chaos, in laughter, in those wicked eyes that seemed to know things about you that you didn't know yourself. Jack is temptation with a pulse, Meryl confessed. He doesn't flirt, he plays with you. During the filming of Heartburn, Jack delighted in invading Meryl's personal space. Not aggressively, no. Jack was far too skilled for that. He was precise, calculated. He'd lean in an inch too close, linger a second too long, and grin as if he were enjoying a private joke only he understood. One afternoon, he whispered something into her ear, a line she refuses to repeat to this day, and she burst into laughter, blushing so hard she had to turn her back to the crew. "I don't get embarrassed easily," she said. "Jack got me." His touch, his scent, his unpredictable energy, it all created an intoxicating cocktail Meryl struggled to resist. "Jack is the kind of man you regret not sleeping with," she said. "And also the kind you might regret sleeping with. But oh, you'd still think about it for the rest of your life." If Clint was a cliff, Jack was a roller coaster, dangerous, exhilarating, and impossible to forget. Number 3. Denzel Washington. Meryl didn't bother hiding this one. Denzel Washington made her nervous. Not shy girl nervous. Not starstruck nervous. Woman-to-man nervous. "He has an energy that makes your bones vibrate," she said. "He doesn't flirt. He doesn't need to. Denzel just exists. And suddenly you forget what professionalism means." They interacted several times over the years, but one moment stood out. At a private nominees' dinner, Denzel sat beside her, close enough for her to feel the heat of his arm, hear the gentle rumble of his laugh. "At one point he rested his hand on the back of my chair," she recalled. "Not touching me, just close. And I remember thinking, Meryl, keep breathing. Denzel's quiet confidence, his soft voice, his commanding stillness, it all combined into a kind of masculinity that overwhelmed her. He's grounded, she said. He's strong. He radiates something ancient, something primal. You don't sleep with Denzel lightly. You sleep with him and remember it forever. Had he pursued her, even subtly, she admits she wouldn't have been able to resist. Let's just say, she added with a wicked smile, if circumstances were different, I would not have said no. Number 4, Robert Redford. When Robert Redford's name came up, Meryl didn't answer immediately. She sighed, a long, wistful, feminine sigh that told the whole story. Redford is unfair, she laughed. Absolutely unfair. He wasn't handsome. He was art, the kind of perfect, golden, unblemished beauty that made women lose logic. But the real danger wasn't his face. It was his softness, his quiet voice, the way he listened, the way he made you feel like the only person in the room. I once danced with him, she said. Just one slow dance, and if someone had asked me my name during that dance, I wouldn't have remembered it. He placed a gentle hand on her back, guiding her lightly as music drifted around them, and Meryl felt her entire body surrender to the moment. It wasn't sexual, she said. It was worse. It was romantic. She confessed that if that night had gone 1 minute longer, she might have kissed him, despite everything. Redford was the kind of man who made smart women lose their wisdom, disciplined women lose their discipline, and married women lose their memories. If temptation had a face, Meryl said, it would look exactly like Robert Redford. Number 5, Daniel Day-Lewis. Daniel Day-Lewis is not a man you sleep with once. You sleep with him and disappear into the emotional wilderness for 6 months. Daniel is a force of nature, Meryl said. He looks at you like he's peeling back your soul. She described a moment they shared during awards season. Daniel leaned in to talk about a character he was preparing for. His voice soft, his gaze intense, his focus frighteningly sharp. I had to break eye contact, she admitted. It felt like he was undressing my psyche. Unlike Nicholson's playfulness or Redford's charm, Daniel's allure came from something darker, deeper, a kind of spiritual seduction that didn't ask permission. He's the man who makes you forget who you are, she said, and that's the dangerous part. Meryl admitted that if she ever slept with Daniel Day-Lewis, my nervous system would have collapsed. I would have needed a sabbatical, maybe a therapist, maybe a monastery. Daniel is the ultimate all-or-nothing man. Nothing about him is halfway. Nothing is casual. Nothing is safe. He terrifies me, Meryl confessed, but in a thrilling way. Number 6, Al Pacino. Meryl saved the most explosive for last. Al Pacino, the man who didn't seduce with beauty or elegance or mystery, but with fire. Pacino is chaos, she said. Beautiful, irresistible chaos. Where Daniel was deep, Pacino was wild. Where Redford was gentle, Pacino was feral. Where Clint was controlled, Pacino was a flame trying to burn through whatever stood in his path. During a backstage moment at an awards show, Pacino rested his hand lightly, very lightly, on Meryl's waist to guide her through a crowded hallway. It was innocent, she said, completely innocent, but the electricity of that touch, I felt it for hours. Pacino had a voice like gravel soaked in whiskey, a smile that flickered between charming and dangerous, and a gaze that could melt steel. He looks at you like he's about to confess something, Meryl said, or ruin something. You never know which. She admitted that if she and Pacino had ever been alone for even 10 minutes, she wasn't confident she would have stayed professional. I had no self-control around that man, she said. None. Even at 60, recalling those moments, she couldn't hide the sparkle in her eyes. If life had unfolded differently, she whispered, Al Pacino would have been my greatest mistake and my greatest story. In the end, Meryl Streep's confession isn't really about sex. It's about desire, human, flawed, deliciously honest desire. At 60, she finally allowed herself to admit what most people never dare to say out loud, that even legends feel temptation. Even icons have fantasies, and even the greatest actress alive once looked at 6 men and thought, just once, why not? Her list isn't scandalous, it's beautifully human. Now it's your turn. Which of these 6 men surprised you the most? And if you were Meryl Streep at 60, which Hollywood legend would you secretly choose? Comment below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because the next confession is coming soon, and it might be even wilder than this one.